Good evening, and welcome to Alana Tries Things they have never done before. Now, it's Valentine's Day, at least the day that I'm uploading this. It's Valentine's Day. Ignore the dogs. I would like to wear a pretty dress on Valentine's Day. I am my own Valentine, first and foremost. I have been single for years. At this point, and it's not changing anytime soon, but it's actually too fucking hot for this too. I have some beautiful fabric, and I have a very interesting pattern, which we'll get to in a second, but I just love this pink, and I would like a nice little dress so that I can prance around in my backyard under the full moonlight. I don't know, but today we're gonna try something fun. We're going to attempt, oh my god, to even figure out how I folded this piece, this gargantuan. Yeah, this is gonna be something eventually. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is perfect the enemy of the good? Yes. So this is a violet pinafore dress with seam allowances, thanks to Tiana's Closet. I will post the link in the thing up underneath. You know what I'm talking about. But we're gonna work on that. This is gonna be our outer layer. Thank you to one of my grandmas for buying this 50 years ago, and for my mother for just having it around. So that'll be the outer layer. And then I don't know if you can tell, but these are two different reds. This one is slightly warmer than this red. So we'll see which one works best for the lining. I don't normally line the clothes that I make, because I do make my own clothes and they are not perfect, but whatever. With the state of the economy, you have to make your own shit. So, I don't know what tools I'm going to need besides like a nice pair of scissors. And then my beautiful brother, which is my sewing machine that my mom got for me the last Christmas we had with her, and then a tape measure. It's backwards. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's stuck. This video is going swimmingly already. All right. I'm also not even looking at the camera. There you are. There's the little dot. So welcome to Chaotic Crafting Corner with Lana. Let's get started. Okay, so here's the dealio. The nice thing about this is the very first page that you print out for this, whatchamacallit, is that it has its own size table, along with like a general outline of what the pattern is supposed to be. Did I tape that together correctly? No, it's like 20 different pieces of paper that I've taped together. It works fine. It's fine. But at least for my body is not like anybody else's body because it's mine. But I gain weight over the winter and then I lose it during the summer. I do this every year. I am 32 years old. I'm fine. This is just how it goes. So I am going to measure myself right now, and then I'm thinking of adding, I'm either going to add belt loops or I'm just going to accept that I'm going to be belting it together to cinch it if I want to wear it a little bit later into the year. But I got my, oh, I know, you want to play with it. Give me a minute and then we'll play, okay? Give me just a minute. Mama likes to play with rope too. Take that to whatever context you like. But I've got a little pink pen for my pink outfit, so let us figure out what our main measurements are. Bust, waist, and hip. Very obvious. So, hip. I shouldn't have to tell you how this works. You know, you got your bust, which are your tits. You got your waist, which is the cinch, and you got your hips, which is the thickest part of those hips. Thank you to my birth mother for giving me this beautiful body, because I have certainly grown into it. So, thickest part of my waist. If I could only get the thing to work. It's about 45 and a half. So I'm gonna write that down. 45 and a half. All right, my waist. is, we're gonna call that 38. It's easier to deal with if it's 38 than 37 and a quarter. And then my bust. Please don't stab me, little girl. We can play in just a minute, I promise. 43 when I'm inhaling. And inhaling is important because you want to be able to fit into whatever thing that you're making at your most inhaled, because we're not all just exhaling. At least I do. I not only breathe into my lungs, I also breathe into my diaphragm. So now a lot of sizing charts are small, in my opinion. So in the bust size, I'm like a 3XL. In the waist, I'm like in between a 4XL and a 5XL. And in the hip, I'm like an XXL. So that is certainly like a very interesting mishmash of what sizing is. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at I'm not doing a good job at looking at the camera. But be that as it may. So because I am like a mishmash of different sizes in this one specific sizing chart, I do believe I'm actually going to go in with a really bright colored pen and then just outline the lines. Outline the lines as they transition from one size to another. Because, you know, it's really nice how this is set up to where you can tell, you know, it swoops up and then it goes in, and you can tell each one of these lines is a different, each one of these lines is a different size. So I believe I'm going to go in and then just like, you know, gently drop between the sizes as I need to. And then we'll move from there. And as interesting as this is, I really like how this pattern is set up, because it's all, you know, all parts of this dress together. And you just have to assume that you're going to flip your fabric in half and cut that piece, because this is a zipper closure piece, which is also going to be fun because I haven't done a ton of zipper closures before. But we are going to learn together. There may or may not be a lot of cursing involved, and that's fine. But we're gonna do a little bit of stuff with the pens first, and then we'll move forward. It's good enough. Good afternoon. It's the next day. So, I really do like working when the sun is out, so. Not that I don't work at night, but at least when it comes to putting things on a camera, I feel like the lighting is much better when there's a big old star out in the sky lighting everything up. So we have, in fact, cut out our templates, both of them. Now, do they line up together to one another perfectly? No, not necessarily. Do I believe that they're supposed to line up perfectly together? Also, no, not necessarily. There is online directions of how to do this. I am naturally not looking at them. I'm just gonna do what I want to do. Now, it's nicer to see this fabric in the light of day because I was considering not lining it. I'm gonna have to line it because it is just too see-through. There's even little bits where it has been like woven into the fabric for additional daylight to come through, in essence. So if I were to not line this fabric, I would be a little too uncomfortable with how much my figure would be able to be seen. Not that that's a bad thing, but where I live, it is not what I would like. Maybe if I ever live somewhere safer. You know how it goes. So next part of this process is going to be to cut out the fabric. And for each one of these patterns, it is going to be one piece of fabric that we cut out, but that fabric will have been folded in half so that there will be an equal image not the correct term, an equal piece of fabric that is going to be just about symmetrical. So let's go ahead and do the lining cutting first, and then we will do the main exterior fabric. Yeah, front or back? We'll do the back first. Don't forget your chalk and your emotional support asshole. Huh. Yes, I know. I understand. I know. But this is not the place for you. Okay. Also, I just deleted the video that I did, the time lapse, because I didn't check with my brain about how folded material works. So I accidentally put this on the incorrect side of my fabric. And what I mean to say is, if you want to have a pattern that you don't have to sew together up down the side, get your long way, which is going to be the perfect middle, and then do your pattern on the edge away from your folded edge. I'm not making sense. If I would have cut it the way I originally did it, I would have had to sew together 2 panels instead of having one perfectly symmetrical panel. So here's my center fold, which has been folded. Here is my damn piece of 17 pages of paper put together. Let's try this one more time. I also recently learned somewhere that it's really good for you to cut your material with your scissors, like 1/2 of the scissor on a hard surface. So do with that what you will. All right, we have our back done. The only issue with the front is that I knew I wasn't gonna have enough material in just the one kind of red, which is fine, because if I were to cut another piece out of this one piece of red fabric, it stops at right around here, which is not going to cover me very well. So we are going to put the front right here. We're going to swap this out. Here, cat, hold that please, thank you. And then this is my secondary piece of red. You can tell in the light it is a different shade, but it doesn't matter. It's gonna work fine. What does matter to me is that we are relatively evenly placed as we are folded and flipped over. There we go. Now, could I have ironed this all before I started? Yes. Did I? No, we're not professionals. We do this shit for the lulz. God, I haven't said that in a long time. And it looks like we're literally just gonna make it, which I am grateful for and accept. Perfect. Okay, let's grab our chalk and do it again. Okay, taking you off your stand because it is very imperative when you only have one piece of fabric, and it is a very precious piece of fabric, that you understand if it's going to fit the project you're doing. So I have laid out my front panel, my back panel on my one piece of old, this is a tablecloth. Probably from, judging by the color, my grandma Jean, who's on my mom's side. This is the only one that I have. So you can tell that we are just barely gonna make it, which means this project is exactly what I was supposed to do. So this fits. I know, child, I know. The cat wants to come out. I am going to mark this up so I can do a nice slice down the middle, because it'll just be easier to deal with if it's already cut in half one way. Then I can fold it in half. I'm cutting it, I guess you would consider it hamburger wise. Cutting it hamburger wise. then folding it hot dog wise, and then we will cut out the front and back panels in our main fabric. I haven't thought about hamburger hot dog folds in a while. Oh goodness. All right, let's get to work. Funny enough, I was less precious with painstakingly outlining this main panel for the exterior shell, because I don't have a good piece of chalk that was going to show up on this really light pink. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, we're just going to go in for it. And I'm glad I did, because I saved myself a lot of headache. So good news, I found another straight edge. Is it broken on either side? Yes. Does it still work fine? For the most part. I say that because if you look really, really closely, there's bits and pieces that are just notched because I've used other tools along with this, but whatever, we persevere. I pulled out all of the zippers that I have at my disposal, and I'd like to show you, I very much love stickers, especially stickers that show history, and you're gonna understand what I mean when I show you in just a second. Hi. Hello. We need so much attention. Be that as it may, let me show you the zippers I have, and let me tell you the zipper I think I'm going to be using for this. Yes, that is a good spot for you. Look at this. 41 cents plus tax. This is all from my grandmother's box. So as you can tell, we've got another 41 center. Now these are obviously way too small. Way too small, way too small. You say you're 9 inches, but I think we're going to need a good 12-incher. Now when it comes to the color of this, it doesn't necessarily matter, but I think I'm gonna go with this nice cream, which was at one point in time, focus, you could do it. This was 9 cents. At one point in time in the world, this was 9 cents at Sprouse Reeds. How far we've fallen as a fucking country. But we are going to talk about the rampant rise of fascism in America, because there is no war embossing say. Let's continue. Good morning. It is yet another new day. So one of the things that I always find really heartbreaking about doing crafts like sewing is that there are so many things you have to do before you even start sewing. So I just filled up a bobbin, which is this teeny tiny little circle of thread. And in order to do that, there's a specific way to do it on your machine, which if you've never done it before, I will show you right now. But you need that bobbin for the lower aspect of the sewing machine, because there's 2 different parts of the sewing machine that use thread when sewing. So I will do a little teeny tiny how my sewing machine works, at least, and then I can actually start constructing this piece. Now I do not have a serger foot. A serger foot is used to nicely finish the ends of the fabric that you're working with so it doesn't fray. I don't have that. So I'm just going to move forward regardless. Again, there is like a written out direction for how to make this dress on the website. I read it like 20 times. I generally get the gist of it. If there was a video, it would be a lot more helpful, but I'm also just gonna do whatever I want. So nothing new. All right, you have your regular spool of thread, which is always going to stay at the top of the machine. Even if it's not on this little doodad, it'll actually be up here when we're doing the actual sewing. But right now we're threading the bobbin. So I've already gone via the directions of this specific machine through all the little dits and doodads and curves and hooks and things, so that I'm just at this point right here. Now I'm going to take my bobbin, and at either side there's holes. So we're actually going to see if I can do this on camera, get that a little bit wet. and put this through what is going to be the top of this bobbin. Yes, I did it on camera. Okay, so now this guy is going to go right on top of here, which is multi-use. It's right now going to be a bobbin threader. So take this, push this down, slide this to the side, and then with our hand we're going to rotate it clockwise until it's supposed to do like a little sound. Hold on to it. All right, here, let me take it off. Flip it over. Okay, we're going to, it's supposed to make a little sound, but I think I accidentally did it in a way where it's automatically on there. So let's take a peek. Because sometimes if I do it incorrectly, it'll start winding on the bottom, like underneath this, and that's not correct. We want it to wind on the bobbin. So I'm gonna hold on to it. I'm gonna gently press my pedal. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, now I can let it go. And now you feel your bobbin. You see this little bit of daylight in between this sedentary piece and this moving piece. That lets you know when you can stop winding it because the bobbin is in essence full. I'm only going to fill this about halfway, so probably right around here, because I don't think I'm going to need 2 entirely full bobbins for this one project, but we'll go just a little bit longer. All right, you can kind of hear that sound when it's touching. So now we're gonna do that. We're gonna release this bobbin. I'm going to see if I can flip you down. There we go. This is my beautiful brother, by the way. This is one of the last gifts my mom gave me, and it does all sorts of shit that I haven't even like played with yet. Like all of this is quilting, but that's not what I want to do today. I'll learn at some point. So now we're gonna grab a bobbin. We're gonna get its little tail, and then at the bottom part, it always has like a little, what would you call it? Little image of how to do what you need to do. So for my machine specifically, ooh, she's dusty. She's dusty. I just used you like a week ago. It's very dusty where I live. So plop this guy down, snake him around, give him a little cut at the end, and then little hat so he doesn't fall out. All right, and now for the top, we're gonna grab him. Oh, goodbye, sir, goodbye. I've got a secondary little doodad that goes on top of this because now it's going to be used to hold the main thread. Put that guy on his little hat. Well, his little hat doesn't necessarily make him stay. Let's try this one. How's this little hat? That little hat's better. All right. Now we do the rest of the threading. Let me see. Let me move the whole hullabaloo. Okay. So for my machine specifically, we go around this guy, through the one parallel, through the second parallel. There's a little metal guy on the interior that we also snake about. Then I'm gonna see if I can lower you. Yeah. Excellent. Movement and sound. Technicolor. This machine has a self-threading process, which I love. So let's see if we can get you to, there we go. So what you do is you thread this little guy on this metal hook that's down here. So thread 1, push down the button. It's gonna move the yarn and then bring two little guys here with little hooks. You hook this inside those teeth, and when you let go of the button, it threads the needle. Yeah. Okay, so after a quick Google, I didn't realize that you could use like a zigzag stitch instead of having like a serger on your serger machine to make sure that your ends are nice and crisp as you're working with them. So I'm going to do a zigzag on all of my fabric, my underlayer and my overlayer, even though there's a cat on top of the overlayer and she's going to be very mad, but she's going to get over that. So let us do a little something something and then I'll be back.
Sewing, 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 gotta keep on sewing, sewing, sewing.
All right, we've got one panel of 4. Now this looks very big to me, and it is because this pattern has seam allowances already baked into the actual process. So that's just what I'm trying to remember myself. There are seam allowances in this. I'm not going to be wearing an entire circus tent, just half the circus tent. So do as I say, not as I do. I've already gone through the 2 bobbins. And I've only just done all of the panels. I haven't even started sewing them together yet. So I'm gonna make 2 more full-ass bobbins of the pink thread. And then I'm going to use, oh, this is gonna fall off, isn't it? I'm listening to the BBC. Pride and Prejudice. We're gonna put everything together, see how it fits me, make whatever contours I want. I'm supposed to put a zipper in this, but I think it might fit very well without the zipper, so we shall see. I'm also not going to put pockets in it because I don't fucking want to. So I'm not going to. And that's the beauty of creating your own shit. But that's where we are. Oh, here, take a peek. Take a peek.
Ignore those pockets, they don't matter. But wow, such fabric. Much pink and red. Yeah, very nice, very nice. I've really enjoyed this process so far, though. Just regardless of my silly voices, I'm really having a nice time. I'm really having a good time. And of course, our beautiful, sassy Torty. Always within 3 feet.
So we have got our lining pinned, and I'm going to pin the exterior shell as well so I can make sure they have the same, what's it called? Fine, I will take off my headphones. The same amount of seam allowance. And I am actually going to put in the zipper. I'm just going to put it in the side as opposed to through the middle because I really like how I have the lines of the actual pattern set up. So let me do that. If you want part of the video to include how I'm doing this, tough luck. I'm probably going to change it at least 4 times while I'm doing it. So mess around with things on your own. That's how we learn. I'm probably learning about 7 different concepts throughout this whole thing, and I'm sure tomorrow I will learn even more. All right, so everything is pinned. My main fabric is inside out because when you sew it, you'll then turn it right side way and you won't see any of the seams. So on one edge, I have everything completely pinned up, but the second side is where I'm going to have the zipper. And there is a video that I just saw on the TikTok that shows how to deal with installing install a zipper with a lining and a shell, and I will link that down below because I think it's really, really good. I need to have the visuals for sure. But then everything underneath the zipper I'm going to just go ahead and sew all together, and then when everything is done, I think I'll do the lining first and the shell second, and then they will become connected through the zipper. I think before I do all of that, I will also hem the raw edges of the neck piece and the armpits, and then we'll be golden. All right, I got 2 nice fat bobbins, one much sore than the other, but I am realizing I am running a little bit low on my main spool. But I've got 2 additional pinks that I think will work just fine. They're not exactly perfect. Probably the little one is what I'll go for. But let's, oh shit, forward. No, whatever.
Let me tell you, it feels so good to watch this go super, super quick because it is not super, super quick in real life. but I like watching it go zoom. There's no other way for me to verbalize it. That's just what you get.
Right. We've pinned our lining. We're gonna move forward. Yeah, girl.
This is kind of the home stretch because I am about to swap on over to the zipper, which was its own little bit of agita, but I had a good time with it. I'm letting it go a little bit slower so you can see just how finicky it was to make sure that I made this zipper as almost invisible as I could make it. But you know what? For a first try for like a long zipper, I'm pretty proud. I am very proud of myself for this project.
So everything is all finished. Let's give it a try on. It's nice. I didn't make it to wear it on its own though. Hold up. I'm rather proud. Now, as comfy as this is, I would probably still wear it with a belt, and I have two options. So, in form, I have a darker option and I have a lighter option. My darker option is more based in plums with my dark red boots. And then my lighter option, I have my favorite harness and then bag that are both iridescent. So let's take a peek at both of those. We have A and B, choose your fighter. This is an NBC, but she's a good NPC. And B, which one? I think we're gonna try on both. Yeah. Yes, my love. Okay, so if we're honest, this dress does fit a little bit like a potato sack. I don't care. I had fun. This is outfit number one with my boots. But I think I'm gonna like the other one a little bit better. So let me go try that one. I was right. I do like this one more. I've got my pink ass shoes, my iridescent bag, and what's in my iridescent bag? An even smaller iridescent bag. So that's where we are today. I hope you had fun in my little sewing escapade. I'm gonna go pour myself a glass of, I don't drink, I don't smoke, pomegranate juice. I'm gonna go pour myself some pomegranate juice. Enjoy the day. Yes, because the day this is going up, the 14th. Oh, hi. Hi, will you be my sharp Valentine? Will you be my sharp little Valentine? Yeah. The day this goes up is my 1 year anniversary for sobriety. So pomegranate juice sounds perfect. Oh, sharp girl. You want to say bye? Say bye to everybody? Say have a wonderful weekend? Say try things that you've never done even though they scare you? Sounds good to me. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, take care. Take care.